English 201 is the first English course that I have taken in college, and I can honestly say that it has made me an overall better student. I owe most of my progress as a reader to the reader response theory. These are the questions that a reader asks themselves while reading. A reader must anticipate what is going to happen, see if their anticipation of what was going to happen becomes fulfilled, try and find the author's meaning, ask themselves what they think about something and why they think that. Is the piece that they're reading enjoyable? And what artistic style is the piece of literature trying to take? I used the reader response theory when I was annotating. I have a Rendezvous with Death and Young Men. I never really understood poetry that well, and since the objective of the assignment was to annotate the story so that we would have a better understanding of it, that's exactly what happened. I found that annotating the text made me think more about what was happening, and I actually had a better understanding of what the poem was trying to tell me. The annotations had me look at word choice more closely. I had to look at the imagery that the poet was giving us, because everything that is in a poem or a short story is absolutely relevant. There's no useless information in there. The author chose to put a bit of information in there for some reason, so you have to really pick it apart, and annotating helps with that. Not only did I annotate, but I had to fill out a paper that helped me comprehend the poetry-like story, asking the questions that kept me interested, and I paid attention to word choice, trying to understand the motives of the narrator, and in this case, the poet himself, Edgar Allan Poe, considering that this story was written in a first-person point of view. A helpful digital tool that we used this year was a program called Blogger. It is a blog site run by Google, and it allows people to post blogs for the public to see for free. And this tool was paired with an assignment that helped me read more carefully, because when we were reading, we did not know what the assignment that we would be writing about later that night would be. So I would have to keep an eye out for rhetorical devices, and I also found I liked to blog because it allowed me to write in a more casual way and helped me appreciate the novel because I was seeing more little things that I would have had looked over otherwise. English connected with my black box production class in the sense that for both classes we were required to see a play and write about it, either Tick Tick Boom or Doubt. I chose to write about Doubt for both of them. Black box required us to read the script and analyze it. I was able to have a better understanding of the story this way instead of seeing it just on stage. It made me more certain that Father Flynn did do something wrong with Donald Muller based on the word choice. Just watching it, on the other hand, the audience is never really sure on what happened between the two of them. A challenge that I faced this semester, and that I have always faced, is that I don't really like to read. I'm a skimmer. I would always read just enough to get a basic understanding and never really get the full meaning of a book or a story or a poem. But if I did that in this class, I would fail, so it forced me to read everything. My most memorable experience of this year is discovering that I like finding connections in pieces of literature, almost as much as I do in film. When there's these little connections in film, it's called an Easter egg, and literature is full of these Easter eggs. It turns into a little game for me, trying to find all of them, and I actually have fun reading now. It's amazing. A great example of this is when we had to read F. Scott Fitzgerald, Winter Dreams, and from the very beginning it seemed very similar to Gatsby, and upon my second reading I was trying to find as many similarities as possible. So my aha moment actually stems from the challenge that I was facing. Along with skimming comes a wandering mind. So whenever I would try to be reading something that was very long, my mind would wander and I would go completely off topic. So for instance, if I was reading something out of like a textbook, I would immediately start thinking of how that relates to a musical, and the next thing I would know, I would be listening to the musical soundtrack, and that's not really a good use of my time. So I discovered that this year I could actually take my wandering mind and use it productively and move it towards something that was relevant to the topic, asking myself questions that relate to the story, getting a deeper meaning of what the story actually means. And this is where I was able to get all of my images that I used throughout this presentation from, so thank you to Blogger, Sacred Heart University, Amazon, Wikipedia, and that last one on there, which I really can't pronounce the name of, but you can see it with your eyes. It exists, it's there, it's awesome. Finally, I just wanted to thank all of you for a great last semester, and I look forward to seeing what all of you do in the future with the rest of your college careers.